Hello, welcome back to our Rule the Waves 3 playthrough for Italy starting in 1890, Mare Nostrum. Last episode, we got the fleet battle we were looking for, but we were kind of pushed back into our port there. We managed to sink a few enemy battleships. We lost some cruisers in exchange. We sank some heavy cruisers, but we lost some light cruisers in the process. So we're still at war. We've been at war for 15 months at this point. We're still building ships, still building these escorts. We're a year out from the first of our new battleships here. I'm afraid they're already kind of obsolete because of the engine speed, the horsepower requirement stuff. And we're getting close to the point where we're going to have dreadnoughts start showing up. So those battleships are unfortunately kind of not great. We're no longer blockaded, at least. So the future's looking okay there, but honestly, it's not looking great in terms of our battleship situation. I may have invested a little bit too much into our light cruisers, thinking they could carry us through. There we go. Oh yeah, we're starting out real close. Do we have any torpedoes? We do. We do have torpedoes. So let's go full speed. What kind of weaponry do we have? 14 6-inch guns. This guy's above average. Oh, enemy ran away a bit. I don't know what this is intercepting us. We're going 19 knots and they are outrunning us. Well, if it really is a light cruiser, then it is not going to appreciate getting hit by 6-inch guns in this era. Already it appears to be slowing down. I don't know. We're scoring hit after hit. Allegedly, they're reporting hits. I don't think it's necessarily accurate. And come on, keep hitting them. The sea state is overcast. It's nighttime. Or the weather's overcast. The sea state is currently, well, sea state limited speed. I don't know why, with just overcast weather. Maybe there's high waves. Come on. Keep hitting them. Turrets are back in action, so they gave us a chance to rearm, so to speak. There we go. Hit them again. As soon as they identified, we started giving them some smacks. Okay, we're hitting them pretty good. It is a Russian ship. I prefer to be sinking Austrian ships because they are our long-term enemies. I'm turning away a little bit here, just in case they launched a torpedo. But we're gonna maneuver and fire off one of our own. There we go. Now we turn away. There we go. That should do it. We're gonna go down to cruise speed here and light them up. And that should be it. We can conserve ammo and we'll head back to Morocco there. No need to waste ammo, no need to put our ship at risk of anything weird happening. There we go. There was also a heavy cruiser out there. So how good was that light cruiser we sank? It was 3,200 tons and about 6 or 7 years old. So not a great ship, but it's now an artificial reef down there. We'll take a minor victory. Yeah, we'll get rid of him. He's below average. All right. Reduce the risk of bearings overheating on high speed. That's really good. Well, we lost a sub. Japanese lost a battleship. Russia lost a heavy cruiser. And we're blockading the enemy this time. Wow. I don't want it changed. I think they might just have a bunch of their battleships in repair, but it's probably going to change this month here. Italian battleship intercepts our battleship? What is that? The Saint. We don't even have the Saint. Oh boy. What? Uh, okay. I mean, I've never intercepted a blockade runner with a battleship before. I can go 19 knots if it'll let me. There it is. Squad max. I don't know. Highly doubt we can catch that thing. And I highly doubt it's going to slow down and fight us. How fast is that ship? 20 knots. So we're not too likely to catch them unless they do some maneuvering and we can keep carrying on in a straight line and our bearings are overheating. Yeah, we're down to 17 knots. Not our best ship for intercepting. And it's nighttime. All right, go home. Cruise. The engines were already down to 15 knots. Yeah, this is one of our new battleships. And well, now we're getting some hardships. They're giving us more money while our people are protesting. Austria, Northeast Asia. Austria lost a cruiser. Japan lost the battleship Yamato. We sank a couple of submarines at least. And our unrest goes up to 7. All right, they intercepted our light cruiser. Let's take a look at this thing and see how good it is. This is one of our new light cruisers, so it might be able to hold its own. It depends on what they throw at us and how lucky we get with our initial volleys there. So we're going to go up to 20 knots just to start out. Looks like a heavy cruiser. Cool. Let's start working up some steam. We'll go up to 25 knots. And depending on how the gunfight looks, we're straddled. And they're still straddling us. Now we're hitting them. It's only 5-inch guns, but it is a 3.5-inch belt. So depending, when I hit it, took an engine room hit. No, we're down to 19 knots. This is not good. Yeah, I was gonna say, depending on how the gunfight looks, we could do a. Now we took a rudder hit. We do like a torpedo run, but that's not really gonna happen. I think we just have to retreat. Let nighttime be our ally here. Well, that was a humiliating defeat. Oh well, it's worth a try. Yeah, I think our fleet in general is just kind of obsolete. I mean, it should count as a draw. Cool. We're still blockaded. Austria loses a heavy cruiser. Well, we just have to keep hoping we can get a battle here. Well, this is the same battle we just had. I bet it's probably that Rab class. Well, we can give it another try. It is midday, so we have some time. Let's turn off our torpedoes and go to squad max this time, right from the start, and see if they're between us and the home. Maro's class. Okay, maybe this will be a little bit different. We'll see. Smaller belt, but their guns are probably still just 12 5-inch guns, and we have 8 5-inch guns. Yeah, it's not really. We're being straddled. Unless we somehow got really lucky and hit them in the rudder. Let's just aim for Sicily. I mean, we're hitting them. We're hitting them like crazy. It's on fire. We took a near miss, so let's go a little bit closer. And now we're just taking hits with no return. We spotted an unknown ship. All right, that's a sign to go home. Although we can turn back around and shoot them up a little bit more. I mean, if they're on fire, this is risky and stupid. Don't ever do this. Chasing a heavy cruiser with a light cruiser. Oh, he's dead in the water. Potentially. All right, let's give him what for. It's not, the biggest victory ever, but we need fights like this where we can just chip away at their strength and try to break the blockade. Squad max, we're going 24, so we are getting away. Unless something breaks, but we should be fine. Yeah, we're okay. Yep. Okay. So we took light damage and we sank a cruiser. Okay. Looks like we broke the blockade somehow, and we're making money again. That's due to them raising our war budget. I'm going to wait a few more months, and then I'm going to start designing a. I don't even know. Let's take a look at our gun situation here. We have 12-inch guns that are 0 quality, so those are actually quite nice. So maybe we start designing a, World War I era dreadnought type battleship with 12-inch guns. That's maybe not quite max size or anything. Uh, something similar to what we have here, but with hopefully better speed. We'll see what we can whip up. I don't know if I made these Vanitos before or after we got that horsepower technology. Cruiser action. We'll take this fight. These are Palestros. All right, let's see what we get here. Do we get completely overwhelmed? Probably. I can see 4 ships already. So we're going to line ahead on these destroyers here and turn like this. These are, yeah, the Fulmang class. Fulming, 300 tons. So we're going to go to 20 knots on those. And then our cruisers, line ahead, turn off the torpedoes, 20 knots to pull back a bit. And then these are our new destroyers, which are a whopping 600 tons of displacement. We've got the Lustros, which are can also go 20 knots pretty comfortably, actually. Okay, I told you, line ahead. I don't know why there's any confusion with that. The battle has barely begun. We're already in disarray. Uh, Not looking horrible in terms of the balance here. Question is how fast are their cruisers? 20 knots. So we can, if we go max speed for a minute here, we can catch up with our heavies. We're going to push the engines for a few minutes just to get us within gun range. There we go. And now we go max -2 back down to 20, and then these light cruisers can come a little bit closer to get their guns into action. And the destroyers are going to kind of creep behind. Okay, well, let's get our light cruisers closer to the action. So down to 20 again. We are just getting out gunneried here. Okay, we're coming upon an opportunity where we might be able to force the enemy into a little bit more close confines here. And we're willing to sacrifice some of these destroyers in order to score a torpedo hit or two, potentially. And we're going to start one of our classic pincer attacks here. So let's get our destroyers up to speed here. And we're going to go up the western side of their battle line. Try to envelop with the heavy cruisers and the light cruisers. The Tiger class. They have a lot of different destroyer classes. They must really be focusing on that sort of stuff. All right, let's speed up these light cruisers. And the enemy's making a swerve with their destroyers. Now there's coastal batteries, so we do need to get away from that. All right, destroyers, do your thing. Go in there and die gloriously like the enemy destroyers are doing. All right, we need to steer clear. Yeah, if we don't want to share the fate as the other enemy destroyers, then we have to get a little bit away. But maybe we can force the enemy to turn around by doing this. All right, we're forcing some maneuvering on them. Light cruisers have torpedoes. Now, we don't necessarily have to make an attack here. Oh, okay. It looks like we absorbed one hit on that destroyer. Must have been a very small caliber or a near miss. Okay, now we're taking some hits, I think. Or no, that's us hitting them. Okay, that's nice. Okay, move our light cruisers in now. Hopefully these light cruisers can... All right, we have to maneuver. Yeah, they're taking near misses, so I just kind of darted in towards them a little bit. All right, these destroyers need to go like that. And we just took big hits on our lead. All right. Well, we'll do it again. And then we'll probably just send this whole destroyer group home. These are the destroyers we do want to hang on to for at least a little bit longer. Nice. And then we'd had one more torpedo in there on the Aquilion. With a nice spread of torpedoes going in. So let's get our heavy cruisers. The heavy cruiser's doing decent here. Nice. That's what we're hoping for. And it looks like we do have one destroyer dead in the water. Maybe I can hit this one? No. Alright, we're at to comb the potential torpedoes from our own side there. Alright, now we can send our destroyers, the new destroyer group, home. When I say new destroyer group, I just mean the more modern ones, that bigger group there. Alright, not great. But we can launch a few speculative torpedoes here. These are not particularly, they don't have a particularly good chance of doing any damage or hitting anything. Uh-oh, we just got hit by a torpedo. That's not great. Hang on. I want this one back here. Alright, looks like we're going to lose one of our own cruisers. Okay, yeah, he's Dunskies. Maybe I can bring the survivor down here to help out. The Euro looks like he's going to have a shot here. Nope. And then the Austro, we're going to bring back the Strale. Send everything home, slow him down to 20 knots. All right, bring the Austro back around. Okay, it looks like we might have a dead in the water cruiser. Nope, no torpedoes left. Okay, go home. And then this cruiser can go home. And we just want to hunt around for. There they are. In fact, we can bring the Lombardia back in here. Oh, those are destroyers? Eek. Okay. Careful. Careful now. I don't have torpedoes of my own on these things. No, I don't. These are these are definitely my cruisers. Let's do turn together. We can avoid a collision. And we'll straddle this guy with 3 heavy cruisers. Now we can do turn together. Okay, we took a rudder hit. But that guy is slow and vulnerable. Let's get the Goito, Goito, angled towards home. And we'll slow down to cruise speed on these heavy cruisers. The gunboat. And we are running out of ammo. So the Lombardia will try to finish that off. Misses. It's okay. I have plenty of more torpedoes where that came from. We'll get the heavy cruisers back up to max -2. All right, that'll do it. Now the Lombardia can go home. And these heavy cruisers, they're just chasing destroyers at this point. But, I mean, any hits we can score on them are going to probably... We're out of main ammo. We're going to break whatever we hit on these destroyers. Just knock out as many of them as we can. Okay. Now we send them home. Okay, how do we do? So we lost a light cruiser. We lost 2 destroyers. We sank 2 heavy cruisers, and we sank 4 destroyers. I'd say it's a pretty good trade. All right, this Grosswardian, 7,700 tons. That's a respectable ship, especially since it was apparently built in 1900. And then there's one more. This one here. It's another one, same class. Okay, well, we gotta slowly chip away at the advantage that Austria has here. Oh, we get triple turrets, and we get cross deck fire. Uh, just some skirmishing in the Mediterranean. The Japanese might actually be helping us uh, avoid the blockade here by doing this. And we're still, just staying ahead of Austria here. So we're half an hour in. I don't think there's time for another battle. So we're going to call it here. I'm going to, I think, immediately go to the next episode and record that. So you'll see me tomorrow, and I'll see you next time.